Hey, what's up guys, my name is Charlie. Today we're going to be doing some more requested reaction videos, and this video is requested by Sonic Speed 175, and it's going to be Player's Choice by Scott the Woz. Of course, more Scott the Woz, why not? He is good after all. But yeah, let's check out the video and see what this is all about, shall we? Let's go. Oh boy, is that VHS tape player? Jesus Christ. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Hey y'all, Scott here, and welcome, marketing rats. This is Marketing
That
101,
could be
the
GameCube
101st
game
edition of our marketing
in a
tutorials.
pot.
Today I'm going to show you how to
Just go
successfully
with it.
market that Nintendo GameCube game that you're selling in 2018. Market it. Thanks for learning the ins and outs of marketing with me today. If you choose to purchase our next video release, I'll show you how to put a down payment on a house with just your signature on this piece of paper.
Yeah, I was in the video and even following the directions. I don't know why. I came out with bread.
Oh Jesus,
Mankind
Kirby
has
turns
achieved
into a
multitude
slice
of
of bread.
amazing Things,
My
putting
God.
man on the moon, the Great Pyramids, the continuous evolution of the sciences, but for some reason they made Player's Choice f***ing yellow, so might as well start over. Listen man, I do dig a hearty video game from time to time, and a good portion of that dig ratio is definitely playing said hearty video game. But once you're done playing it and put it back on the shelf, that's how it'll look for the majority of your
Overkill.
life. Sitting there. Mainly serving as a conversation piece or
Nice.
incredibly expensive decor until you decide to pop it back in again. So I usually really do care on how the spine of a video game looks. I mean, I
Yeah,
never
if
won't
you're a
buy
game
game because the spine
collector,
is
it's
screeching
important
inducing,
for the
But
spine.
whenever I pick up a new title, the spine is one of the first things to look at because, well, that's how it'll look like when it's on my shelf.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, I
true.
can't get enough of that darn consistency. If a video game library's boxes all line up with each other, oh boy, there's truly no other feeling like it. I know, I've talked scoliosis enough in the past. I'll make this little spine tangent as brief as I can possibly make a spine tangent. Take the PS4 games, for
Oh,
example.
Dead
They all
Rising,
have the same
Doom.
PS4 headers
Oh
followed by a
boy, look
custom
all these
spine
games.
featuring
Resident
the game logo and
Evil.
art. The fact that they all have
All
their
those
own
beautiful
custom art and
games.
logos with the same PS4
The House of
header.
the Dead Overkill.
Wow.
Absolutely great.
Similar
It's just
situation
that's a
with the Wii.
spelling
Most
game as well.
boxes are all white
I
with the
practiced my
custom game
spelling on it.
logos. They just look really
GoldenEye
nice altogether.
007.
Yeah, some games have custom colored boxes like New Super Mario
Prince
Bros.
of
Wii's
Persia.
red one and Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games
Beautiful
the yellow
games.
one. And while I would have preferred these boxes to be white like the rest,
Alan
I feel
Wake.
these, they're so frequent that
Love
they
that
mainly
game.
feel like special games.
Resident Evil
The
4.
picks of the litter. Cool things to make them stand out from the rest. Now if 20% of the Wii library had a red case, that's when it would get a little on the too far side of things. When a good chunk of a game console's library has one specific design compared to the rest, the world's flippin' pissometers all collectively burst. The first half of the PS3's life had spines like these, and then they decided to switch the logo to something completely different. I do prefer the second logo, but man, if you alphabetize your games like I do, you just bought yourself a ticket to Inconsistency Jungle, an attraction that's borderline irritating. The Wii U's spines, however, were
Mass
deservingly
Effect 3.
absent from the nominations at
Minecraft,
the years
fuck.
2012
Oh,
through
Jesus.
2017. They obviously tried
Having
to
that
make
in your
them all
collection,
consistent,
Jesus.
but all it did was irk. They continually kept on flip-flopping between stock
Hyrule
generic fonts and
Warriors.
actual game logos. Like, why does Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, Star Fox Zero, and Game & Wario have their own logos, but then Splatoon, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and New Super Mario Bros. U have this generic font? And they allowed Capcom and Square Enix to make one game each with a
Deus
black spine
Ex,
for some
yes.
reason, and then they made Star Fox Guards box have this eggnog stain of a color. Nintendo even forgot to add the blue ridge on the top of the Wii Sports Club box. I do prefer having colorful
Bioshock,
spines that
Bioshock
feature
2,
art from the
Bionic
game
Man,
and the game's
Blur.
logo, but if a game
Oh,
console
all these
library's
games,
spines are
Condemned
one
2,
way,
Blood.
game publishers, please follow in everybody else's footsteps.
played
The Nintendo Switch
practically
library
all
sees the
those
majority
games.
of games use the same font on a red background, and while that doesn't leave a lot of room for creativity, it looks nice on a shelf. Except we have troublemakers in the form of Super Bomberman R. God, what is this?
I didn't even know
Not only
Bomberman
is
was
the
still
title
available in
centered instead of left
2019.
aligned like every other
So
Switch
for the
game, but why is
Switch.
Konami's logo like this? Why? Overall, I like some consistency in my game boxes. Is it OCD? Well, as somebody who unknowingly
You
has
just like it
OCD would say,
organized.
I don't know. So
I
please
don't
take
know,
this into
yeah.
consideration when I paint this picture.
You just like everything clean
Popular
and
must-have
tidy.
games
Something wrong with that.
reprinted for low, low prices. I don't know about you, but I had myself at so please take this into consideration. But there's a catch. This thing looks miserable. This isn't a game, it's what people hold up in mugshots. Player's Choice, Greatest Hits, Platinum Hits, Nintendo Select,
Played that
Sega
game
All-Stars.
before.
They go by many names
Crazy
but serve
Taxi,
one
yes,
purpose,
played
to
that.
muck up anybody's up-and-coming game
Halo,
collection and
Halo
turn them into
Wars,
something
all the Gears of
foul.
Wars.
That's a nice looking
Played all
GameCube
these
library
games,
have
I'm
there.
telling
Holy
you,
shit,
it's
I made a huge
insane.
mistake making that observation. The concept of these re-releases is great, being hit games at a price where they're practically giving them away. But they all mess it up hard by ruining
Sonic
the
the Hedgehog,
packaging
Mass
with
Effect 2,
different
Blur,
colors,
played that,
graphics,
Bioshock Infinite,
designs,
played, Halo Wars,
whatever.
played. played.
They stick out like a sore thumb. Since these were re-releases, these are the most current prints of these games, meaning a lot of the time they're everywhere. They're the easiest to find, and every single major game company had their own line of these re-releases, and they all made sure they were eyesores for some reason. And the terminal illness started with Sega Classics on the Sega Genesis. Sega Classics aren't super awful, mainly because the Genesis games themselves don't follow a strict format. While many have the black grid or the red design, many don't at all and have their own custom one. It always felt weird to me that you were supposed to keep the Genesis cases due to their hard plastic, yet there was so much variation in the box art layout, while the SNES boxes were all incredibly unified in terms of design, yet Nintendo didn't expect you to put them on a shelf and keep them. They were just cardboard
X-Men
boxes that
Origins
you were going to be
Wolverine.
thrown
I
away.
played the
Speaking
shit out of that
which,
for
the
the
Super Nintendo
Xbox 360.
and Game Boy were the first appearances of the term Player's Choice. Making amazing games like Super Mario All-Stars, A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid.
Or the
a
gold
measly
cartridge.
$20 is
That
awesome.
comes to mind.
And the way they went about these re-releases on the SNES was tolerable in my opinion. The cartridges now have a Player's Choice ribbon graphic on them, and the line on the label changed from red to golden. Not a big issue in my opinion. I mean, A Link to the Past re-release is uproariously apparent you have the re-release, but the majority of Player's Choice on SNES ain't that bad. The same goes for N64. Nintendo did a very similar thing
boy.
with these re-releases.
I love
just
this
popping a
game,
ribbon
Mario
graphic
Kart
on them.
64.
If I could choose, I would definitely pick up the original copies, but in my opinion, if you have the Player's Choice copies of SNES and N64 games, I won't completely disregard you. Now Game Boy is where we start to get
Completely
funky.
disregard.
God, these boxes looked hard. Literally, they couldn't just stop at a ribbon graphic. They had to change the entire Game Boy logo. Thankfully, the cartridge itself only has the ribbon on it, but was this really necessary? However, Nintendo decided that wasn't enough and decided to go full-on sociopath with Player's Choice on GameCube. This is
boy.
horrendous, replacing the black labels with yellow ones. The front box art and spine
I don't
art
think I've ever
sections
seen a
could've
yellow
been
Nintendo
worse.
GameCube.
But come on,
sort of-
they could have chosen
I've only
any
seen the
other
black
color. They chose yellow.
colours.
The only thing I can think of for the
Super
reason
Mario
behind the hard color
Sunshine,
change
one
is
of the
that
best
Nintendo believed
GameCube
that
games
consumers would
ever.
be attracted to the yellow, as it would yell to them saying, "Hey, I'm a best-selling game at a crazy low price." The thing is, I don't think any consumer knew why these games were yellow, and I think if anybody had an option, they'd go with the black GameCube games because that fits snugly with
Yeah.
the rest of their collection. Also,
If
from
you're
what
a
I've heard,
collector.
games can't yell. It's like Nintendo has a mentality. When a consumer sees a Player's Choice title, they know they're in for gallons of joy at a price to die for. No! Nobody thinks that. Just the fact that these games are at a low price should be enough to grab a consumer's attention. Why'd they have to smear yellow all over the place? And at that point, why not just add a
Stand
graphic to
out
the front cover and
against the
call it a day?
collection, I
Why the
guess.
spine, which nobody would see in most retailers?
It's
Why
the
does
time
it have to
splitters
be
right there.
obliterated in this process? The Game Boy Advance had the right idea. It had the same Player's Choice graphic, but it was only on the front cover and nowhere else, not on the spine of the box. And even then, most people threw the GBA boxes away, so with these things, I would have been more than okay with the disease spreading to the spine. But nope, they had to put it on their home console with cases people actually kept. Even though I hate the yellow Player's Choice label with a passion, I'm still stuck wondering who got it worse, the US or Europe?
Metroid
Nintendo
Prime.
moved on from Player's Choice.
That's a
Now
great
refers
game
to
as
their
well.
budget gaming line
Little
as
bit
Nintendo
complicated for
Select,
me,
starting
but
with
it's
the
alright.
Wii and continuing on with the
Luigi's
3DS and
Mansion
Wii U.
2.
These,
That's
I'm way
bit
more
boring
into.
game.
The spines only have a small medallion on the bottom, and that's cool with me. It's not jarring, and many games have a graphic on the bottom like this anyway, so it doesn't stick out hard. I mean, if I have the option, I'd definitely trade these out for the original prints, but I don't have a problem sleeping at night with these games in my collection. Japan never got Nintendo Selects or even Player's Choice. Instead, they have the Happy Price selection for the 3DS, which, hey, if you want to feel like you're buying a puppet show instead of a game, the Happy Price selection has you covered. The Nintendo DS never had a Nintendo-managed budget software lineup, but that didn't stop Konami from re-releasing their own games.
I hate that
and
shit.
also
I've seen that
packaging.
before. A
This
game
is the
within a
kind of
game
box art that raises
coverage,
more
cover
questions
up.
than
I
answers.
hated
The
that
disease
shit.
spreads further. Sony is just as guilty
Tomb
with these
Raider.
types of packaging. PlayStation uses the moniker Greatest Hits, and the PS1 had this ooze onto the front cover. Honestly, this isn't my least favorite in the world. It's not good by any means, but it looks far nicer than what the PS2 got. Jesus, man, who in their right mind said, "Burgundy"? How is this color appealing to anybody below the age of 80? And why is the header now curved? PS3, we have red. Better than the PS2, but still not the greatest in the world, because now the case is red too. Speaking of red, Sega had one more crack at the re-releases with the Dreamcast in the form of Sega All-Stars, which are basically less annoying forms of the PS1's greatest hits. But we still have this monstrosity to go over.
That
Xbox's
game right there, I've played the
Platinum
shit out of
hits.
that.
Microsoft
It's
made
that
sure
spray
you
paint
damn well
can,
knew you had a Platinum Hits
game.
copy of a game, as the entirety of the
Roller
box is
skates.
coded in
That's an
this thing.
incredible game.
The header, the box art itself has a border, the spine, including where the game logo is. It's just cream to bits. I mean, at least it's silver, which is a pretty
Burnout 3
conservative and
Takedown.
nice-looking
Played
color.
the
It
shit
doesn't
out of
clash
that.
with the others, but at least it's
Halo.
not yellow
Yeah,
compared
that's
to
it.
black or
Super
burgundy
Smash
compared to
Brothers.
black.
Played
I
a
don't
bit
like
of
these
that.
at all, but I still have a burning or hatred for Player's Choice and Greatest Hits from that
Grand Theft
generation.
Auto San
But don't
Andreas.
worry, everybody. Microsoft redeemed themselves in terms of not pissing me off enough, because let's talk about the Xbox 360 generation, where they had so many different designs for Platinum Hits games, it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
the first
there's so
design
many.
was this, basically a border around the box
Sonic
art
the
and
Hedgehog.
spine where the game's logo was changed to be this gray thing. Honestly,
Sonic
not
the
that bad.
Hedgehog
It
was a
doesn't really
Platinum
stick out
hit.
that much in comparison to other games. Then they change it to this, where Platinum Hits spreads
Halo
to the header
Wars.
and enlarge the spine's header as well. This one is gross. I hate the fact that the 360 header on the spine is way longer than it needs to be. After this, there were a few Platinum Hits that just had a simple logo on the front cover with nothing else, and my god, this is how you do it. Just a little graphic on the front is fine, it's perfect. After these non-complaints,
Mass
Microsoft went
Effect
back to
2.
the drawing board and came back with this. What is this?
I
So
think
the
I
header
had
is the
that
same
one. Yeah, the
elongated
Platinum
one
Hits.
from before,
Mass
but
Effect
now
2.
with a gradient from gray to white. I never liked how the text was in white, so it got harder and harder to read against the gradient. But why? Why is the spine white with the most stock generic font imaginable? There's no reason for this. Why does
knows?
it look this way? Recently, Microsoft has re-released Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible with the Xbox One in this new packaging that looks like the Xbox One boxes, but absolutely not at the same time. I hate these too. Like, why not put a graphic on the original releases that just says playable on Xbox One? Instead, you have it clash with the rest of your Xbox library, no matter
Yeah,
what
that's
console
bizarre.
you have. Have an Xbox 360, doesn't look right next to the rest of the games. Xbox One, same thing, because it's a standard DVD case compared to the Blu-ray size cases of the Xbox One. There is no reason why these re-releases should stick out this badly. And you know what's even worse? Some games were exclusively released in this packaging. Pikmin 2's Wii release took a while to get here in North America, and when it did, Nintendo slapped the Nintendo Selects border on it. Why? This game was never released in North America. How can it already be a Nintendo Select? Some people go for complete sets of these re-releases, and you know, that must be a fun thing to collect. Good on those people. But for everybody else, if you
Super
just want
Mario
to play Super Mario
Sunshine, what a
Sunshine
fresh
and have the
breath
Player's
air.
Choice copy,
Honestly,
it
that
looks
game's
jank of the
amazing.
jank next to the rest of your games, and it doesn't need to be. They didn't have to change the look of the spines. They didn't have to change the color.
Yeah,
of the
it was
faces. They could've just
unnecessary.
popped a graphic on the front that said bestseller, lower the MSRP, and call it a day. The fact that they went the extra mile,
They had to
deserves a
slap
solid
their
shake
brand
of the
all
fist.
over it and
And
fuck
thus,
with all
it
the
was torn,
fonts.
it being that, because that tears it. I'm gonna form a strongly worded verbal letter to Nintendo about these roadkills of re-releases. Hey, Nintendo! Why'd you have to make Player's Choice so lame?
Well, sir, it was the player's choice.
Okay.
Ah, God.
We did this.
Oh boy. I gotta say, those games he has, some of those games, absolutely incredible. Yeah, so that was Player's Choice, Scott the Was, and I gotta say, I was excited to see all the games he had. I was just like paying attention to all those wonderful games. I've actually played most of the games that I listed or called out. I played all those, and I've played a lot more. I had a large sort of Xbox original and Xbox 360 game collection, along with a large GameCube collection. I think I've got some old videos of my collection. I don't know. I think I might have to dig those up and maybe upload it onto my channel so you can guys see my old collection. But it was a while back. It was a long time ago, and I don't have my collection anymore. But it was pretty sad. It was really sad. Yeah, I just absolutely loved looking through all his games. It was pretty cool, awesome. Also, he does make a valid point. If you are a game collector and you're trying to, put all your games in a row, the spines are a little bit off. And that's a bit of a shame because, if you're a collector, you don't want that yellow brand all over it. So it makes sense if you like everything organized and clean and readable. I don't like that either. I never really liked the Platinum Hits on the Xbox 360. I always thought that was terrible looking in my collection. So I can agree. I don't know why they had to do all that. It was absolutely terrible. But it is what it is. And yeah, I don't think it's ever going to be going away, unfortunately. Don't know why they're doing it, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, if you like my video, make sure to give a like, comment down below, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.